folks, welcome to another edition of Take 5 Tuesday. We're continuing with our series, Everyone You Love and Everything You Have. Today we want to talk about some of the essential elements of estate planning, not the elements you might think. So if we're going to look at proper asset ownership, there are three types of title that we need to explore. And these three types of title are universal to just about all American assets. Assets held in individual name. We're a capitalistic society. We tend to want to and do hold our assets in our own individual names. Very common, typical way in which Americans own things. But as you'll see, if we own it in our individual name, it's going to be subject to probate. It's also possible for someone to take it away from us. If it's owned in our individual name, it's available to our creditors. Then there's joint. Many couples in this country own assets jointly, husband and wife, however the couple identifies themselves, will often purchase assets jointly or in joint name. Joint tenancy with right of survivorship is a term many people know. And essentially, if it's joint, both people own it until one stops owning it and the other then continues to own it. So joint tenancy. Now, joint tenancy between spouses is typically not that problematic, except that it flies in the face of a lot of our tax planning, as you will see. And so we like to avoid joint tenancy even among couples. Joint tenancy with children is even more problematic, as you will see. Then there's contract. A lot of Americans own property by contract. Anything with a beneficiary designation, 401k, IRA, an annuity, a life insurance policy. All of these things are assets that are held by contract. That's great. The issue is we have to make sure that the beneficiary designation is aligned with the rest of the plan. Do we really want an 18-year-old grandson to become the beneficiary on a $500,000 life insurance policy, or is that too much money too fast without any control? So again, contract is beneficiary designation driven for most Americans, but it's also the basis of trust. So trust planning is contract based, and it is the source of our ability to avoid probate with trusts. The efficiency of an estate plan is dependent on proper title as well. And by that we mean, are we going to do things preserving assets, keeping assets out of expensive probate, keeping assets out of the hands of government and taxation? The efficiency of our plan. Are we getting leverage and making our plan effective on a monetary basis is also dependent on proper title. The tax savings. If we don't have proper title, we may not get the estate tax savings that we were counting on. Personal protections. Divorce protection, asset protection against creditors, catastrophic creditors, business failures, car accidents, slip and fall. These personal protections for assets inherited is also dependent on title. So the catastrophic illness protection that we want to be able to offer is completely dependent on title. If we do not properly title assets, they're going to be available should there be a catastrophic illness. They might also be subject to abuse or subject to waste if we have an incompetent person managing them. Catastrophic creditor protection from divorcing spouses, from car accidents, slip and fall, business failures, again, are going to be related to how we title assets. Remarriage protection. If I die and my spouse remarries, but all the assets are titled in my spouse's name, then there's a good chance that some of my assets are not going to end up in my children's hands. Could end up in my spouse's children's hands. And divorce protection for our children and heirs. All of these things are dependent upon proper title of assets. And the efficiency, the ability for us to efficiently move assets from one generation to the next without waste, without deterioration of the assets, is very much dependent upon title. So tax savings and personal protections are central to this idea of title.
Until then, take care of yourself, take care of your family, and take care of your clients.